Yeah. So, like we were looking at uh, finding a transformation which will finding a transformation which will uh, which will prove that the solution space is same for even yeah
Okay.
um, if T is a transformation matrix and A is another T is a transformation, yeah,
Okay. So
matrix.
one thing, Sunil. So we're looking at, so we have a system. We have a system one of equations, like 2x plus 3y is equal to 7, x minus 3y is equal to 5, something like this. And then we are transforming it into system two. Some transformation. We are seeing, we are studying transformations that will preserve the solution space.
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay. And matrices. So matrices, we saw that it falls under this transformation, linear combination transformation, right?
Hmm.
We saw that matrix.
Linear
Yeah,
combination.
if you want to get as some matrix modification, it's just linear combinations, right?
Yes.
Right. So is this the only type of? We saw that. Yeah. So we saw that linear combinations does preserve the solution space in. Yeah. So linear combinations can be used to preserve solution space if you choose the linear combination properly, right?
Yes, we have seen that S1 is a subset of S2, but we are not able to prove the otherwise. S2 is also a subset of
Correct.
S1.
Correct.
So S1 is
Correct. 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 Yeah. 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 So if T is a linear combination, so if this T is linear combination, if T is linear combination, then basically T S1 is equal to S2, right?
yes.
We can model it. We can model it this way, right? Yeah, and then we know that any. So yeah, S1 is a subset of S2, right?
Yes.
Correct, but we don't know the other way around. But if you also have another matrix such that T dash S2 is equal to S1, then we know that the solution space is same.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Right. So yeah, so linear combination is one, but does it mean that linear combinations is the only type of transformation that will preserve the solution space? So for example, an example of linear combination is I have equation 1, equation 2. Then equation 1 is replaced by 3 times equation 1 plus 4 times equation 2. Equation 2 is replaced by equation 2 minus 2 times equation 1. Okay. Now, if you call the system to be A, then what would be the matrix that is associated with this transformation? We can take.
Yeah.
We started with this sequences, if you remember.
Sequence.
4, 9, 16, 25, and then we started writing this, and then this. So we are taking successive differences, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Now I remember.
Ah.
Yes.
Right. So in that, what all did we observe last time?
The constant, it was increasing with the power, and then we figure out that polynomial, I mean x plus oh my god, x raised to 1 plus n.
No problem.
Polynomials
No.
Yeah, we reached till that point. That much I now remember.
Correct. No, you don't have to recall the entire session. So just whatever we feel like exploring now, we can just choose that. and continue. So we made one observation that this constant term, at what stage is it occurring? So if it is n power k, so this is just n square here.
Yes.
Then if it is in general n power k, then the constant stage is constant stage is
Constant, you mean 2 to 2 or 0?
yes 2 to 2 okay, 2 to 2 to 2.
A2. So after means third step we are getting, or A0, A1, A2.
Right. So A0, A1, A2. So if it is n square, we get the constant at A2. If it is n cube, you would get the constant at we observe, right? Then we got constant at which stage?
4.
4. 4 or 3?
4, 3.
Yeah, so we're able to get matrix for this transformation.
Yeah, yes, sure.
So what is the matrix?
That is 10 minus 3, 0, 9. It is a transformed matrix. That is T into A. T into A.
Okay, T into A is equal to, okay, we'll call it as B. So what is T? What is the matrix T?
T is 3, 4, 1 minus 2.
Right. And A is?
A is 2, 3, 1 minus 3.
Right. And then we get this transform matrix. Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. So now
A3.
A3.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
That is 6. It is in terms of 6, right?
Correct. Yeah, I will.
So if we consider the first as our first step, then A3 will be our fourth step, otherwise third. So it's up to us. How do we consider?
Right. Yeah. So I'm starting with A0, A1, A2, A3. Then okay. So if it is n power k, then the constant, from what it appears, the constant is appearing at which stage? For squares,
constant, which
the
is
constant,
6.
the constant is A2, then the 0 is A3. For n cube, the constant is
A3.
at A3 and 0 is at
A4.
A4, right? Yeah, and we made this observation. So what can we expect for n power 4?
N power 4, the expectation was the constant will occur at 4, means A4 stage, and 0 will occur at 5th stage, that is A5.
Have we verified this?
Yes, 4th one we have verified.
Correct. Right. So from this, what can we, so what questions come up now?
So is it, if K is, K defines a constant term at AK, that is what we have to verify.
Correct. That is what we have to do.
Means from this we can observe that it's the same thing at AK, but we need to check that.
Excellent. Wow. Nice. And also we also saw the value of constant, right? So here the constant is 2, here the constant is 6, and here it is 24. And then we also, so we also saw a pattern here, right?
3 factorial, 4 factorial. So that is A factorial. That was our observation, we can say.
Excellent. Yes. So how are factorials coming here is another question, right? So one more question which I raised was the initial sequence A0, right? Instead of taking, so when we take squares, cubes, 4 powers, and so on, we are pattern is that you would get a 0 at some stage, right? So can we choose the initial sequence A0 in such a way that I will never get a 0? Is it possible? So this is one more question, that we have. Yeah, you can try to get this. Okay.
But is there anything like power only? We want it in power format? No need, right? Any type?
No, so any sequence which has a pattern. So I must be able to generate infinite number of terms using some rule. That's it.
Okay. If I double it.
Right. Yeah. So Sunil, for this question, right, for this transformation 3, 4, 1 minus 2. Yeah. So now, do you think this transformation preserves the solution space for this equation system of equation 2x plus 3y equal to 2 and x minus 3y is equal to 5? How do we
yes,
check
look,
that?
No, we can only say that it is A is a subset of whatever the transform B. A is subset of B.
Right.
That is sure.
That is sure. Right. Right. Okay. Fine. So we have this. Yeah. So we have made this observation here, and Akka. Yeah. So you said that if TA is equal to A, then you can prove that T is equal to I, right?
Yeah. So there was one more question, no? Are only linear possible, the linear combinations possible candidates for solution space preserving? So non-linear means like even into E2 or even by E2, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, but we already saw that that would change the degrees of the equation. So we've already seen that that will not be area preserving, right?
Right. But here it is like, for example, if you remember the one which Shravan gave, right? If you have a system E1 to EN, then
that
we
is
change
also a
it
linear
into.
combination only.
Okay. Right. That's also linear combination. Right. Fine. So multiplication and multiplication is another kind of transformation that we can think of. Are we sure that we have covered all the possible transformations? Maybe I add to each equation, to each coefficient, I add a constant. So if it is 3x plus 5y is equal to 7, I add a constant term 4 to 3, 5, and 7. Right. So this is another transformation, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but. So Sunil, what do you think? If TA is equal to A, do you think T is I? So what is I?
No, I remember it's a identity matrix. I think the diagonal elements are 1.
Okay. Right. So if I multiply this with any matrix, what would be the product? Right. So I would also like to just show one more thing here. So yeah, so we have made a preliminary study of these transformations, right? We were trying to see how to solve a system of linear equations, right? Can we come up with a efficient tool to solve if there are more than 2 variables and more than 2 equations, right? And we were seeing, so suppose there's an equation 3x plus 4y minus 7z is equal to 11, 6x minus 3y plus 10z is equal to 100, then x minus y minus z is equal to 50. Yeah, so this is just 3 by 3. So one of the uses of these transformations could be that you transform the given system into a simpler system whose solution is very obvious to see. Okay, so this is, yeah, so the transformations that we are studying could be used. We could explore if they could be used to transform this equation into something whose solution is apparent, right? So last session I had asked to give an example of a system of equations. Say we'll just fix 3 by 3, 3 unknowns and 3 equations whose solution is apparent as soon as we see it. What would you give that as an example solution and an example system? So x equal to 3, y equal to 5, and z is equal to 7. And Akka last time said, why should you call this a system of 3 equations? These are, I can just see it as independent equations. Yeah, that is true. But then, okay, but in a way we can generalize and say that this is also a system of 3 equations, right? There is nothing wrong in that. I can just say the coefficients of y and z are 0. Now we have explored some very simple. We know we have explored some simple transformations, right? Some simple linear transformations that preserve the solution space. Now, using that transformation, see if you can reduce an equation, this system. See if you can reduce this system to this form. So this form is called the reduced form, the reduced system, the reduced form of the system. Okay, we'll just call it the reduced form. Now, is it possible to transform this system to a reduced form using linear transformations, which we know preserve the solution space?
Is it just E1 plus E2?
E1 plus E2.
1 E1
So
plus 1 E2.
Okay, so now this is E1 and E2. Okay, E1 and E2. What is the first transformation? So, ma'am, can you think of an A0, a sequence for which A0 is equal to A1?
A0 is equal to A1.
Yes.
Constant.
If you take constant, then A1 would be.
It will be 0, right?
Correct. It will be 0, right? But yeah, but yeah, if A0 is all 0, then A1 is also all 0. That is
0.
true. Correct. This is one thing, but a non-zero sequence.
Non-zero sequence. Yeah, I'm trying because if I take the multiple, then ultimately I will get the common difference. If I take x plus 1, something like that, again I'm going to get. So I cannot use plus minus signs or multiplication and division. That is what I ruled out.
Nice, nice.
Exponents or log.
Okay, so Akka, what did you get for this?
So 1 by 4, 1 by 4, minus 1 by 6, minus 1 by 6.
Yeah, so you've been able to show that this is equivalent to 1 by 4 x.
No. Oh yeah.
Oh no. Please
this is the transformation. This is the transformation which will give us a reduced system.
Oh wow! So you directly got a transformation. How did you even go about it?
So
okay.
So the reduced system must be an identity matrix.
The reduced system must be an identity matrix. Okay.
So coefficient of x will be not 1, right? Okay. Coefficient of y will be 0, but okay, yeah, x is equal to something is what we want. So coefficient of x should be 1 and y will be 0. And in the second equation, coefficient of x would be 0 and y would be 1. So the result we need is an identity matrix. So the transformation should be.
Okay. I see. So you're using the tool which show, the inverse tool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now the thing is, there is an alternate way of seeing inverses.
Okay.
Yeah. So to see that, you try to through a series of transformations which we know to be preserving, solution space preserving, try to take this 2x plus 3y equal to 7 and 2x minus 3y equal to 5 to that that identity format.
Okay.
Right. Oh, Shubhagi ma'am, excellent. So you see what is happening, right? Right.
Yeah.
Can I
Won't
come up with
terminate,
more?
I'm not sure.
Sorry.
I will get the same sequence, that is okay, but it won't terminate. No, every time I'm generating the same sequence. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So it will work for any, instead of 2 raised to n, I can take 3 raised to n, 4 m raised to n, any natural number. It should work, right?
Can you check and can you
Yeah, that's what I
see
was
if you can?
thinking.
Yeah. Can we prove why that is the case?
No, it's not the same. No. It's not same for 3 raised to n at least. So that means we can't generalize.
Okay, we can't
So
generalize.
what is special about 2 raised to n? I know, I mean, that is a natural question, because I took it for granted that it should work for 3 raised to n, and I was about to try that, but it's not working.
So what is not working for 3 to n?
I'm not generating the same sequence basically. 9 minus 6, 27 minus 9 is 18, so it's a multiple of 6 probably. I mean, something different than because this is all odd numbers and I will get even numbers, the difference. Oh, that is where. So what about 4 raised to n then?
So one thing here, if a naught equal to a1, then we know that the zero column will never occur, right?
Right.
Will never occur. But if a naught is not equal to a1, then can I say that 0 will occur?
No, we need to check. Not necessarily.
Right.
I don't think, I mean, why it should be 0 in that case?
Why it should be 0 in which case? For 2 power n.
For a0 is not equal to a1. No, I'm just thinking over on this second line.
Right. True.
Yeah, why 0? I mean, it is not obvious that we'll get 0 always, but
correct.
How to check?
So last time you used this algebraic approach to give a formula for a naught a1 when a naught is n square, right? When a naught is n square n cube, you are able to give formula, right?
Right.
So similarly, can you try to look at it algebraically and see if it throws any light?
So for 2 raised to n, the difference is, I mean, 2 raised to n itself. 2 raised to n plus 1 minus 2 raised to n will give me 2 raised to n. So again and again, I'm generating the same sequence. Whereas in 3 raised to n, I'm getting double the 3 raised to n. So earlier I had 3 raised to n as my starting point. Now the starting point of the next series or sequence will be double 2 into 3 raised to n.
Right. Correct. So what does this tell us?
So it's not the same sequence. Here it was 3 raised to n, there it is 2 into 3 raised to n.
Correct.
So every time we are getting the doubling, is that what will?
Right. So we were looking for examples of sequences which will never give a 0.
Yes.
Right. And 2 power n is the sequence that is clear, right?
Yeah, that is clear for 2 raised to n because we are generating the same sequence again and again. But here we will generate 2 into 3 raised to n. So difference will be.
So I'm getting the same in other way also.
Nice. So you're getting the same transformation.
Yeah.
Very nice. So how did you?
Okay. So no, that negative It is 1 by 6 minus 1 by 6, not minus 1 by 6, 1 by 6. That made a sign.
Okay, right. So, what are all the preliminary steps that you did to transform this? We'll start with 2x plus 3y equal to 7. 2x minus 3y equal to 5. Yeah. So, what is the
So
first
call that
step that you did?
E1 and E2.
Okay.
So
Wait.
one
I'll just write in a better way. E1 and E2 and 2x plus 3y is equal to 7 and 2x minus 3y equal to 5. Yeah. So what was the first transformation that you did?
If you add E1, E2, it will give 4x, right? So we have to divide by 4. So I did, instead I did 1 by 4 E1 plus 1 by 4 E2.
For which? I mean, are you replacing equation 1 or equation 2? Both.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I got some contradictory answers.
Wow, very nice. So whenever we get paradoxes and contradictions, it means that they're going to find something nice.
No, but see, when I took actual numbers 3, 9, 27, I'm getting the difference 6, 18, where this 18 is 6, 3 is 18. And when I solved it using n plus 1, I'm expected to get 12. I don't know what went wrong here. I mean,
okay. So
see, when I subtracted 3 raised to n from 3 raised to n plus 1, I got 2 into 3 raised to n.
correct. 2 into 3, yeah.
And when I take 2 into 3 raised to n plus 1, means the difference of a1, first two terms of a1.
Correct. Right. So question is, we are expecting this to be 3 raised to 2 into 3 power n, right?
2 into 3 raised to yes.
So that is basically 3 power n plus 1 minus 3 power n, which is 3 power n into 2. Okay, fine. So when n is 1, you are supposed to get 6. When n is 2, we are supposed to get, I think we are getting, right? When n is 0.
Right. Then what? 12, I got 12 when I subtracted 2 into 3 raised to n plus 1 minus 2 into 3 raised to n.
So, okay, so now you're going to A2.
Oh, that is A2. Oh, okay. I got confused. I thought this instead of 18, I should have got 12. Yeah, there we get 12, right? Oh, okay.
The transformation matrix is 1 minus 1, 1, 1, right? In this case, like we'll do E1 minus E2 and then E1 plus E2. So the transformation matrix will be.
So what is the transformation? Can you repeat again?
E1 minus E2 and E1 plus E2.
You're replacing E1 by E1 minus E2 and replacing E2 by E1 plus E2. Right. Now, are we sure that this transformation preserves the solution space?
Yes.
One thing, what is clear?
Again, sure, it is like we can say S1 is subset of S2, but
correct. So actually, it might preserve the solution space, but we do not know, right?
Yes.
But we have seen that if I just replace E1 as it is, and then have E1 plus E2.
Yeah, that will preserve the solution space. Yes.
Now this preserves the solution space, so we know this for sure.
Yes.
Right. And the equivalent equation would be, you would get 2x plus 3y equal to 7, and then 4x equal to 12.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, excellent, Shubhangi ma'am. Yeah. So now, what is the consequence of these observations?
8 into 3 raised to n. Then next will be, so it's doubling every time because we are using the same. I cannot explain you, but yeah, we are using the same thing again and again. 3 raised to n plus 1 minus 3 raised to n.
Correct.
So we won't get 0 anytime because the figure numbers are increasing. The difference will always increase.
Correct, correct. Yeah, in fact, the differences are blowing up, right? Exponentially blowing up every time.
And it won't terminate. I mean, it won't be constant at any point of time.
Correct.
Yeah. So this converse is not true. That if A0 is not equal to A1,
Correct.
it must be 0 always.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So from this E1 to E2, we have come to E1 to E1 plus E2, and here in the second equation, the Y has been eliminated, right? Right. So can I again? So now we know that this transformation where I just replace one of the equations with that equation plus something else. We know that this is preserving, right? Solution space preserving.
Yes.
Sunil, can you for this transformation, what would be the matrix?
Okay, transformation matrix, right?
For this one.
Yeah, that will be 1 0 1 1.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. So 1 0 1 1. So basically, if you have any system A, okay, any system A, and I multiply this matrix 1 0 1 1 A with it, and I get a system B, then the solution space of A and B is equal, right?
Yes, sure. Yes.
Right. So if it is equal, then can I find the matrix T dash as that T dash B is equal to A? Is it possible? So we did some operation to go from A to B.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like reverse.
Correct.
So here, continuing from where Sunil sir left off. So E1 and E1 plus E2 is there, no?
Yes.
From there we can go to 2E1, E1 plus E2. Okay, so the first transformation I'm doing is multiplying the first equation by 2. So it becomes 2E1, E1 plus E2 remains the same.
Okay, right. And so this would become 4x plus 6y is equal to 14 and 4x equal to 12, right?
Next step, I'm subtracting the second from the first. So it's 2E1 minus E1 plus E2. So that will give us E1.
You're basically replacing equation 1 by equation 1 minus equation 2.
That's what I'm trying to get to, yeah.
And equation 2 is as it is, right?
Yeah.
Right. So in that case, I would just write it. Okay, fine. I'll write both away.
I went through all these steps and finally reached E1 minus E2, E2. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now we have got E1 minus E2 and E1 plus E2, right? And this would be 6y equal to 2 and 4x equal to 12, right?
Right. Okay.
Right. So now actually Sunil, at the beginning itself, he told us E1 minus E2 and E1 plus E2, right?
Yeah.
Right. So now we can, it is clear that, now it is clear that E1, E2 is equivalent to E1 minus E2 and E1 plus E2, right?
Yeah.
Because so E1, E2, the solution space of E1, E2 and E1 plus E2 is same, and then this and this is same, and this is same. So now we can say that, okay, so now after this, we can say that this is true for any E1 and E2, right? E1 and E2 is equivalent to E1 minus E2 and E1 plus E2.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now we have this 4x equal to 12 and 6y equal to 12. Then it's just a question of scalar multiplication, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it is just a question of scalar multiplication. You would multiply 1 by 6 with this.
Yeah.
E1 minus E2, and then 1 by 4 with this. E1 plus E2.
Yeah.
So you have y equal to 1 by 3 and x equal to 3. Right. Right. So Sunil, any comments on this?
Shiv, I did not understand this part. I mean, A is equal to T inverse B. How do you find T inverse?
Right. No. I did not say inverse. Still, I not use the word inverse.
Yeah.
That is, that word needs a bit of thought. So yeah, for now I'm just using T dash.
T dash, yes.
From T dash B, how to find T dash, right?
Yes.
So now basically going from A to B is same as you replace okay, you replace E1 as it is. E1 is equal to E1. Then E2 you replace E2, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Now, and you got B. Now, to go from B to A, what kind of order operation should you do?
Um,
Can you
you
think
should
think in terms of operations here?
yeah, you should subtract E1 from E2 dash.
Right. So, what will happen to E1 dash? So, E1 is
E1 is 1 0.
E1 is 1 0. But no, equation 1 could be anything, right? We have taken just arbitrary A and B.
Correct.
So say you can always keep this equation in the mind: 2x plus 3 equal to 7, 2x minus 3 equal to 5. Okay, this is, and of course, while writing A, we have left out the constants.
Correct.
It is there. So now this initial transformation which you told, keep E1 as it is and replace E2 by E1 plus E2, has a matrix representation of 1 0 1 1. Right. Now we also saw that this system and this system has the same solution space. We reasoned that out, right? So
yes.
Then my question is, can I find T dash such that T dash be equal to A? It is not necessary that such a T dash should exist, but will it exist or not is a question. Okay. Now what I'm saying is, we know how to go from A to B. That I just keep E1 as it is, and E2 I'm replacing with E1 plus E2. Now with this, can I go from B to A?
E1 dash stays as it is, E2 dash becomes E2 dash minus E1 dash.
Exactly. Yes. So E1 dash as it is.
E1. Okay.
Then E2 dash is nothing but E2 minus E1.
Okay.
Because this E2 is nothing but this E1 plus E2, right? Right. So now can you give the so now I think it is more apparent that T dash exists.
Yeah.
Right. So what will be the matrix representation of that?
It will be 1 0 1 0 minus 1.
Excellent. 1. Wow. Right. So this is one matrix, and this is the other matrix, right? So now one question: if I multiply both these matrices, what will happen? Again, without calculating, can anyone tell me that this is the answer and this is the reason? So we'll just call this matrix as T. So TA is equal to B is what I have got, and A is equal to T dash B is what I have got.
T into T dash must be identity matrix.
Oh, okay. So here is a very bold claim that T into T dash is equal to I. Why is that, Sunil?
Shiv, if let's say take A is equal to T dash B, if you multiply that with both sides with T.
Okay, so first thing is, if I have two matrices, so if I have an matrix equation, I can multiply the same matrix in both the sides.
Yes.
Right. So so this is, we are able to see it so easily because we are having this written in this equation form, right? Yeah. So if you multiply T on both sides, then we have T is equal to T times
T dash
T dash
B.
B. Okay. Then
Yeah. So we know that TA is equal to B. T into A is equal to B.
okay.
So yeah. So this will imply that T into T dash must be an identity matrix, because the
Oh,
right hand side.
so now you also assume that okay. So now
Mm.
Sunil has made another no. Yeah. So for Sunil's step to be true, another property should be true. What is that property?
Associative.
Associative.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. That is, so T dash B is already on matrix, but then instead of multiplying T with that, I can multiply first T and T dash, and then I can multiply with this B,
B. Yeah.
right? So is it self-evident that matrix multiplication is associative?
No, we have to check.
Right. Okay, but that is something which can be checked. How would you check that is, yeah, I would leave it to you. Fine. So we have B is equal to T dash B. Okay, so now what are you saying, Sunil?
So since LHS must be equal to RHS, T into T dash must be the identity matrix.
Oh, right. So basically, yeah. So what you're saying is, if B is equal to some U times B, then U has to be identity matrix.
Yes.
This is your strong claim. Huh? Again, I can ask how can you justify this? And Akka has actually justified and she has sent the solution. I'm still going through it. I mean, is it clear that U has to be I, that there are no other possible candidate for this? Yeah, so Shravan is saying that it's not obvious, right? Yeah, because matrices have this really, let us take some examples. Okay, I'll ask this very classic matrix theory question. So I have A, so I have a matrix A. Okay, I'm multiplying T into A to give 0. Okay, so now what can you tell about T?
Whether T should be a zero matrix or A should be a zero matrix.
Okay, right. How do I say it? Okay. I say
need not be. Okay.
yes. I say need not be, and a challenge is to construct two 2x2 matrices. So construct two 2x2 matrices. Okay, A and T and A, and T and A are not 0, huh? But TA is 0. So actually, yeah. So this is the first place. So this is the first place where we come across algebraic entities where A into B equal to 0 doesn't imply that either A is 0 or B is 0. And mathematicians have taken this property and they've given it a name. We will look at the names later. Oh, right. So Shravan has given a very quick example. Very nice one. So let us take Shravan's example here. So if you take 1, 1, 1, 1 and multiply it with 1, minus 1, minus 1, 1. Can you see what is happening?
Yeah.
Right. So this is why whatever property that we see with numbers, right? Yeah, it is not obvious that they'll extend to matrices also.
Matrices also.
So when we have this B is equal to UB, right? This U equal to I is not something, yeah, straightforward. Right. It is not straightforward again, but we can do something. We can do something about this. Yeah, yes, John. So U equal to I is one of the possibilities. Right. So what Akka tried to do was she tried to take a general B matrix, so B1, B2, B3, B4, and she took a matrix U1, U2, U3, U4. Now this is equal to this into this, right? So she actually tried to solve for U1, U2, U3, U4 in terms of B1, B2, B3, B4. This is what she had. Excellent effort. And her claim is, if I solve these equations, my only solution is the identity matrix is what she's saying. Very nice. Yeah, that is something I'm seeing. So even I've not thought about it. But we can do something simpler here because we have a very powerful property, right? So TA is equal to B and A is equal to T dash B. Is this true only for this A and B, or is it true for any A and B? Sorry, is it true for any A or only for this A? Again, the context is
for any
0, 1 is the T here, and the A that we have taken is 2x plus 3y equal to 7, 2x minus 3y equal to 5, right? And the transformation of T actually is you're replacing retaining E1 as it is and changing E2 to E1 plus E2. Yeah. So now, will this T, the value of T and T dash, will it be same for any A? Take some time to look at the meaning of T, what it is doing, and this A example A here, and how we got T dash 1, 0, 1, minus 1, 1. So will this
for any A and B, for any A.
hold for any A? So for the successive differences cases, yeah, so 3 power n will never give a 0, right?
Pardon, say it again.
For the successive differences,
3
power n will not give a 0.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So what else can we find more sequences like that which will never give a 0?
4 raised to n probably.
Sorry?
4 raised to n will have to check. I mean m raised to n in general.
Wow. Very nice, very nice. So how will we check that? That is one thing. And one more question is, you give an example of a sequence for which A0 is equal to A1, right? That is 2 power n.
Yes, yes.
Can you come up with one more example where A0 is equal to A1, or can you come up with more examples?
Okay, where A0 is equal to A1.
A1, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So here I'm just, the T and T dash are fixed here. So the T is fixed here. I fixed T to be 1, 0, 1, 1. And yeah, for this A we have seen that T equal to B and A is equal to T dash B, and we have got the value of T dash. Will this hold for any value of A is the question. Will these two equations?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
It will hold,
okay.
But value of T and T dash will be different.
Oh, no. So the value of T is fixed. So the value of T is fixed. Okay. Now, if I change the values of A, if I take different A, will the T dash value change or not? That's the question. Okay. So now, okay, Akka and Shravana, yes. So now, in that case, can I replace A by the identity matrix? Yeah. So if you replace that with identity matrix, then what is the consequence?
Replace A by identity matrix.
So it must hold for even identity matrix, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then you get it right.
Okay.
Right. No, but still, yeah, but still, you have proved that if B is equal to UB, then U is I. That is something which I would like to still think about. Very interesting. So B is equal to UB. So B into. So why it is not so clear for me that this should be true. Maybe true is I can again continue the manipulations, right? So B is equal to UB. So B minus UB is 0, right? And can I write this as I minus U into B is 0? Okay.
I'm not sure this.
Right.
I don't know. No.
Correct. So if I have two matrices A and B and I multiply it with C, can I write it as AC plus BC? Yeah. This is one thing which we need to verify. This is called whether the distributive property holds for matrices or not.
Yeah.
Right? It is not so clear.
Yeah.
I think now I can get a counter example for this B equal to UB. Wait a minute. Still, I've not gone through the proof completely. Okay, yes, I found a counter example. Yes. Now, now I have to see.
Okay.
I have to see the proof. I'm very eager to see the proof now. So my counter example is this. Take B equal to 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Okay, and take U equal to 0 minus 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Now check what is UB. So actually, I got this from Shravan's example only.
Okay.
Yeah. So did you check what is UB?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, I'm still doing it.
Right.
1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1.
So is UB same as B?
No.
No,
It's not same.
Right?
It is no 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. It is same.
Yes, same. It is
Nothing would be right.
Same.
Right. So now I have B equal to UB, and U is.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
U is not the identity matrix, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but Akash sent me a full proof. No. I mean, it's a difficult. You have 4 equations and 4 unknowns, right? So now, it is good to go back and see where the other solutions crop up.
Okay.
Now I get it. See, now some of the terms are 0 here, right? But there you did the by. You did right?
Yeah.
So I will just raise another question and we'll conclude today's session. So we were able to see that. So we have reduced E1, E2 to this reduced form. That is the reduced form is you just have y equal to 1 by 3 and x equal to 3. Right? We'll call this the reduced form. And let us just look at this linear combinations, which we know for sure preserves the solution space, right? So we'll just list them out. What is the first one that we know for sure preserves the solution space?
E1 plus E2.
Right. So in general, if I have E1, E2 till En.
EI by KEI, EI by.
Sorry.
Replace EI by K times some constant times EI is 1. Then replace EI by EI plus EJ is 1. Actually, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And now we have
So now,
So today we saw this that we could replace with E1 plus E2, E1 minus E2. I'm trying to put that in general
right.
terms.
Correct. Today we saw a few more equivalent things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, what we will do is we will just stick to these two. We will just stick to these two operations. These two, let us call them the elementary operations, elementary transformations. Now, a question is, given a system of linear equations, E1, E2 till En with many unknowns, can you come up with a way to reduce it to a reduced form? Okay, so a reduced form, what do I mean? Reduced form is a equation system of this form: x1 equal to k1, x2 equal to k2, and xm equal to km. So this is what I call a reduced form. Okay, so just using these two elementary transformations, is it possible to reduce any system to a reduced form, right? And if you are able to reduce form, what have we achieved? What will we achieve?
To solve the system.
Exactly, right? So once we are, we'll get a solution space. We'll get a solution directly. Solution also, the solution space.
Yeah.
Right. So this method has, so this algorithm, I have not revealed the algorithm. I would encourage you to think about it. Is called Gaussian elimination. Linear algebra, in algebra, if you see, or if you look at all the algorithms in mathematics, right? Probably after Euclidean algorithm, this is the most pervasive one. And for linear algebra, this is the most fundamental algorithm we can do. Is it always possible to reduce it to a reduced form? If it's always possible, right. So if not, what is the best possible we can do? What is the closest we can come to this, right? And what is the consequence? And what is the consequence of this in the nature of solution space? So we saw cases where there are multiple solutions, no solution, one solution, and then we also asked if I can have 10 solutions, 20 solutions, and so on, right? Yeah. So what are all the consequences of all this? You can try to think about it. Okay. Maybe I think it is good if I give some numbers, some systems for you to play with, some carefully chosen systems to play with. So let me give you some systems. Yeah. So it's a good idea to start with the 2 by 2 case first. Okay. So the row reduced echelon matrices means what we were talking as the reduced form, right? That is what he is meaning here. So what all could be the different structure? So if we keep reducing it, what all could be the different 2 by 2 row reduced forms that you can get is one thing. Yeah, so we will conclude today's session. So try to come up with that algorithm and what could be the row reduced form, what could be the different types of reduced form that you will get, and what is the consequence of it in the solution of equations.